If you're moving to Fayetteville and Jack Britt is on your list, you're probably hearing a lot of the same things. Great schools, nice homes, good area. But what does this area actually look like? In this video, I'm going to give you a full driving tour of the Jack Britt District, showing you some of the main roads, the high school, the restaurants, and everything else in between, while also breaking down the stats, the layout, and what you actually need to know before you make any decisions. So if you're trying to figure out if Jack Britt is actually the right fit for you, then this video is made specifically for you. And if you're relocating and you want help figuring out which areas you should actually be looking at around Fort Bragg, I help people with that every single day, and you can book a call with me directly on my calendar with the link in the description. Or you can grab my relocation guide. It's completely free. That'll also be linked in the description below. Before we jump into the drive, I want to quickly show you how this area is laid out so that it actually makes sense while we're doing the driving tour. So Jack Britt is primarily on the southwest side of Fayetteville, and depending on where exactly you're at, you're usually around 15 to 25 minutes away from Fort Bragg. And one thing that you should understand right away is that Jack Britt is not just one neighborhood, it's a bunch of different communities all centered around the schools here. Now for this tour, we'll be starting over here on Stony Point Road, and we'll be heading towards the high school. Stony Point Road is one of the main roads that goes through this entire area, and it's where everything is really located at. It's where you would have easy access to Fayetteville and all the other things around, as well as the high school itself, restaurants, grocery stores, and everything else. Now, as for the high school itself, that is located right here. And this is really the center point of this entire area because it's the primary factor and the real reason why many families choose this side of town. Towards the end of the video tour, I'll actually be showing you guys one of the neighborhoods. It's called Traymore Manor. And this is primarily so that you guys can see what one of these neighborhoods and what some of these homes actually look like. All right, so now that you've got a general idea of the layout and what we're gonna be doing in the driving tour, let's get straight into it. All right, so while the driving tour plays, I'm gonna be talking about some of the facts and the stats. So the first thing that we're gonna be talking about are the schools. This is easily the biggest reason why many families choose this side of town. Jack Britt High School consistently outperforms many of the other high schools in Cumberland County. So for a lot of buyers, especially families, this is the main driver. GreatSchools.org gives Jack Britt an 8 out of 10 overall and reports that 95% of its students graduate on time. And Niche.com gives Jack Britt an A- overall, but Jack Britt actually isn't the best performing high school in the area. That spot is usually reserved for early college and specialty schools, but if you're comparing Jack Britt to other traditional public high schools in the area, then Jack Britt consistently performs towards the top of that list. As far as location, as I mentioned, you're usually around 15 to 25 minutes depending on where exactly you're located at in this district. And like you saw on the map, you'll primarily be using the highway for this, but you'll also have pretty easy access to other neighboring cities like Hope Mills and Rayford, as well as grocery stores and restaurants. As you guys could see on the map, there is literally 3 grocery stores within a mile of each other, and they are all right around the high school. And around all those grocery stores is basically everything else that you'll need to survive. There's a ton of restaurants for you to choose from. There's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu place. There's a Caribou Coffee. So for a lot of the everyday stuff, you really don't have to go too far. Now, what about homes in this area? In the Jack Britt District, you're gonna see a pretty wide range of homes and neighborhoods that are located in this district. You're gonna have older homes with larger lots, and then you'll also have newer construction homes with more modern layouts and features. Now, most homes in the Jack Britt District, they range, but they're typically in the 280s up to the 400s plus. Now for some of the newer homes or bigger homes with larger lots and in a nicer community, those can go upwards of $500,000 plus. And a lot of this really depends on location and size. So just to quickly list some of the biggest pros and cons of this area, first is the pros. The first is definitely the school district. Like I mentioned before, this is the primary factor why many families are choosing this side of town. The second pro is the overall feel. It's a bit more residential and it's a bit further out from Fayetteville and Fort Bragg. Last but not least is you've got a pretty solid mix of homes here, and it all depends on what exactly you're looking for. But this is especially true if you're looking to maximize your BAH. As for the cons, the first con is that you are a bit further away from Fort Bragg, and that commute can start to add up if you really think about it. If you're on the far end of Jack Britt, then you've got a 25-minute commute to and from Fort Bragg, which is 50 minutes total. The second con is that if you're not around the high school, then things tend to feel a little bit more spread out. Now this mainly applies to restaurants and groceries, but this also applies to hanging out with friends or entertainment options. Now, if you don't mind being a bit further out, then not that big of a deal. And the last con is that this is a very neighborhood specific kind of place. You really do have to hone down and choose the right neighborhood because some areas are still connected and closer to parts of Fayetteville. And as a general rule of thumb, the closer to downtown Fayetteville that you are, typically the higher the crime is. So, who is this area actually good for? If schools are a top priority for you and you don't mind being a little bit further out, then I think this is definitely a great area for you. But if you prioritize being closer to base and closer to all the nearby amenities, then there might be a better option out there for you. And I would strongly recommend looking at other parts of town. And if you want a full breakdown of the Jack Britt District, including specific neighborhoods and pricing and everything else in between, I have a video linked right here where I go into a very deep depth about all that stuff. And if you're thinking about making a move, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help you figure out which areas you should actually be looking at around Fort Bragg. Just remember, you can always book a call with me directly on my calendar with the link in the description below. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video tour. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next one.